Okay, so last goes on the Yeti game, and I'm going to take you all through to start off my presentation. Really, the aim of this is just to give you a few ideas that you can take away with you and use in your teaching. I put this together over the last week or two, mostly from things that I've done before, and a couple of little bits that I picked up on the Moodle.org forums. I teach mostly face-to-face. We use Moodle to back that up. But for those of you that only use Moodle for remote learning, there's no reason why you can't adapt any of these for it. But they'll all probably need some quite careful explanation in your forum introductions. You can also use some of these ideas for glossaries and databases too. Some of them may be slightly better suited for glossaries, and as we come across those, I'll mention them. There's some resources that I've posted on the course page, how to set up forums if you're new to it, a little bit about groups and groupings. This just takes you through to the Moodle docs. The presentation this morning is going to be broken up into three parts. My first part will be general ideas, things that you can probably adapt to any particular subject area. Second part will be subject-specific examples, and then the third part, how we can use some custom scales for ratings for forum posts. So, if you have any questions, then please type them away in the chat box at the bottom. I'll try and answer bits and pieces as I go through. And of course, there'll be some time at the end for the questions and answers. There's also a forum on the course page that we can carry on this discussion after the presentation this morning. Okay, so let's jump into the first few ideas. First one I thought about, anticipating. So set up a forum, ask the pupils, give them some kind of situation, some kind of scenario, and get them to post their ideas, what might happen next. Get them to blog. You could assign different pupils to blog about your lessons that you're teaching face-to-face. Give different pupils specific roles, specific aspects of a problem in a forum, and get them to post very definite aspects of that problem, and then everybody else can jump in and discuss those. Chat back. So this could be something that you would use in a face-to-face lesson. You know, let pupils use their iPads, computers, laptops, mobile devices. As you're doing your face-to-face lesson, they could post questions on your forum. Some pupils would prefer that. Some pupils don't like to put their hands up and ask questions in front of their peers. You might get some quite different conversations and questions coming out of that. You could then reply verbally to these, and then the pupils could post a summary of your comments just to reinforce their learning. Closing a forum, which it can be quite a useful thing to do. You know, as well as the having the opening and closing dates on the forum. You know, you can close the forum completely afterwards. There's some more details on the Moodle.org help files how to do that. Okay, Trish just mentioned the audio is going slow. Okay, Trish, I'll turn my webcam off. So hopefully that should help the bandwidth a little. And I'll try and speak a little slower for you. Okay, so closing a forum can be quite a useful thing to do. You'll find how to do that in the forum administration permissions. Just click on the prevent icons for students starting new discussions and replying to posts. One of the great things about forums is that you can use them to build your community. Doesn't always have to be subject specific. Set up off-topic discussions for your students. It can really help to get to know them, get to know their interests outside of the classroom. The next few are all very similar kind of theme, but in the forum introduction, you could ask pupils, you could show them some picture of a graph, ask them to describe it. Possibly a Q&A type forum might be more useful for that. Similarly, get them to describe an image in their posts and discuss it. Use some text that you post in your forum introduction. Get them to turn it into a flowchart. The other way around, ask them to give them some text, give them some data, ask them to take that data, turn it into a graph, and then post that graph. So they could do that on their computers, do that in Excel, take a screen grab of their graph, and then post that as an image. And get them to storyboard something. So you could give them part of a passage of text and ask them to come up with separate still images to describe what's going on. And again, those images they could do on a piece of offline software or online software, and then post all of those images into a reply. Mind maps, so again, giving them some information, asking them to take that text and converting them into mind maps. There's some great online resources to create mind maps. And then, of course, all of this you can get the pupils to rate each other, and I'll mention a little bit more about that later on in the presentation. As a teacher, it can be useful to note contributions from your pupils. So there's a few different ways to do that, but you could, as a teacher, just have the teacher rating posts. So if you think it's a good quality post, you could rate it. If you use count of the ratings, that will give you, for that particular forum, the number of useful posts that a student has made. Diary is quite a nice activity to run with your pupils. So limit the posts, 1 per day. Get each pupil to start off one discussion, and then if they include the day of the week in the title, replying to their own one, you could build up quite a nice diary over the space of a week, or even let it run longer than that. And of course, because it's all open, the pupils can share each other's, and then after the activity, maybe comment on each other's as well. Discussion carousel. This may need a little bit of explaining to the pupils. So I see this, I've used this as just using a normal forum. But just tell the pupils that they are only allowed to reply to the previously unanswered post, just the one post, the previous post on the list that hasn't been answered. Now you could do a similar kind of thing with Q&A, but this is requiring pupils to actually reply before they make their post. The Q&A forum kind of works the other way around. They would have to post and then they'll be able to reply afterwards. Great, thanks for the feedback, Mandy. It's the first time I've done this. It's very strange talking to a room of 21 people. So please type away, chat away, give me some feedback. Otherwise, it's a little bit like talking to myself. Okay, more stuff. Editing time. Now, after posting, as you know, you've got 30 minutes editing time. You could use that to kind of build that into part of the forum activity. So actually ask pupils after so set up a Q&A forum, but actually ask them to read each other's after they've posted and then use that 30 minutes editing time to go back, improve their answers after they're posting. That's actually something to bear in mind though, if you are setting up a Q&A forum, if you're looking at revision question or exam questions, that I'll mention that later. But yeah, of course, they could just post something, look at all of the other answers, and then change their answers to suit. So that's kind of worth pointing out. Have a forum just for the teachers. So hide the forum from the students, so click on the little eye. Of course, any teacher on the course can still see that forum. So it's quite a nice way for teachers to be able to have conversations about the course, maybe even develop content. You could ask pupils to film your lessons. Most pupils these days, well, certainly in my classes, they've all got mobile phones with video capability. So why not use it? Just ask them to film your lessons, upload them to a forum. Then they've got them, everybody's got them to refer to later on. And very easy for you. It's you know, it's not much extra effort for you, and you've got a great revision resource there. Let's just reading the comment from Mandy. Still battling the devices off, eyes to the front mentality. Yeah, it's difficult getting people to change. I guess it's all about trusting your students. Front load the lesson. This is something that we've been playing about with quite a lot recently, where I'm employed, is just giving all of that material to the pupils before they come into your face-to-face lesson, and getting them to study it beforehand, and using that lesson to talk about it, to reinforce it, to question it, to assess it. So all of the, use forums to do a lot of your teaching before you actually see the kids. Help desk for student support, quite an obvious one. And yeah, apologies if a lot of these are obvious. Different people, different levels. Some of these, if I can just come up with a handful of ideas that you can use in your teaching, then I'll be really happy. So yeah, sorry if this is all stuff that you all know already. Hierarchy, so kind of thinking more high level thinking here. So giving pupils some information in the forum introduction, asking them to arrange it in levels of importance. So like a sequencing activity. Get the students to generate ideas on a topic or a reading that you can address in class. Hypothesize. kids are so creative, certainly a lot more creative than some of the adults that I know. Just set them some really wild, wacky questions to have a think about. Similar to one that I mentioned earlier, give pupils specific jobs for a forum. Get them to summarize, illustrate, extend. So this could be set up face-to-face earlier, or you could outline it maybe using groups or in the forum introduction. And give them a particular role. Don't just ask them to reply to a post, but ask them to do something specific. Go and find a picture of something related. Go and find some extra information to add on to it. Take the information from that previous post and put it into your own words, summarize it. I was just thinking it could be interesting to come up with a custom scale to get pupils to start rating some of the posts using a scale like so good summary, good illustration, well done, you've extended that discussion well, just to kind of reinforce and highlight what type of post pupils are making. Cool, people start. Learning style selector, obviously pupils learn in different ways, so why not make sure that all of them can access that learning in different ways? So whatever content you're producing for your pupils, post it in a variety of different formats. Make an audio recording of it, make a quick video of something. Pupils don't learn great from just big sections of text. And then get them to comment on which ones of your posts have helped them the most. You can obviously then use that to inform your teaching and, hopefully be more effective with it all. Andrea, I like scales. Yeah, there are lots and lots of ideas later on for uses of custom scales. This one here actually is another suggestion of how you could come up with a custom scale. So you could have something that's maybe slightly controversial as a forum, a topic for debate, and then come up with a custom scale. Pupils then can decide how much they agree or disagree with a particular statement. So obviously for that, you'll need to let pupils rate each other's posts, or at least rate your post. And as I said, there's some links on the course that is set up for this presentation that takes you to the Moodle docs, the Moodle help docs to help you do that. I felt a little bit cheeky including this one because it's automatically set up for you. But yeah, news forum, use it, it's brilliant. Great way to keep students updated and just get that keep that conversation going with them. I really like this one. I got a big thing about getting pupils to reflect on their learning. Just really simple for them. Just ask them to post, one thing that they learned in your lesson today. Just quite a nice little summary for them, and it's interesting. It can really highlight what they got out of your lessons. One-to-one. So for this, you'd need to pair up the students. Whoops, I've gone backwards. There we go. So for this, you'll need to pair up your students, start off a discussion or idea, and just make it very clear. One half would kind of take that idea or take that discussion and try to explain it as posts, and then the other half of your students would reply to those posts to check their understanding. Find out students' opinions on things that you've recently taught. Continue class discussions if you run out of time. I think Well, I'm certainly guilty of that sometimes. Pupil voice, get them involved. They've got great ideas for forums. If you have the odd naughty pupil, maybe posting something slightly inappropriate, you can split that post and then move it to a hidden forum so you can keep a record of it. Obviously speak to the pupil and let them know why you moved their post. But that's something that's certainly possible. I think there's some documentation in the Moodle help docs for a little bit more information on how to do that. Quiz show, get them coming up with the questions. Revision, so similar to another one that I mentioned earlier, have a particular topic for revision, arrange pupils in groups. So you could do that through the grouping in the forum. And then have certain pupils researching, discussing, summarizing particular revision topics. This is the one that I mentioned earlier, Q&A type forum for posting exam practice questions. But as I said, be careful because the pupils could just post anything and then use the 30 minutes editing time to change what they're posted about. Self-selector, so there's all sorts of different ways that you can cover material with pupils. So you could come up with maybe 8 different tasks on a forum, 8 different conversations, 8 different posts, different styles, and then ask them to choose 5 out of them to read, reply, cover your content, and get involved with your discussions. Again, you could monitor that using summing the useful contributions, so rating them and then looking at the total useful contributions. Sequencing, so similar to my idea about the hierarchy, but just give them some information jumbled up in the introduction, get them to post it in the correct order. So maybe it could be, I don't know, a science experiment method. What particular steps should this be done in? Similarities and differences, quite a neat way to organize them into groups. If they're born in an even month, then they would reply to with similarities to the concepts that you've posted. Odd reply with differences between them. So just to give you an example of that, maybe biology, animal cells, plant cells. So half of the pupils would give the similarities between them, half would give the differences. You could apply that to many subjects. Snowball. Now let me know if I don't explain this to you quite well. Teacher starts it, the teacher posts material. The first 2 pupils to reply would say, yep, great, I've got it, I understand it. They would then start off 2 new discussions, summarizing the material that you've posted and then adding some new content to it. That gives you 2 new discussions. So then from those 2 new discussions, you could have 2 pupils replying to each of those. So 4 pupils replying in total and doing exactly the same, summarizing that content, adding new content to it, and then posting that as new discussions. So from your 1 initial discussion, you'll get 2, 4, 8, and then so on. Is that okay? Did I explain that one okay? Okay, thanks. Spotlight. No reason why you can't give individual pupils, the spotlight. So pick 2 of your students, ask them to research and then post very opposing views on a particular topic. And then after that, everybody else can jump in with some open discussion and debate. Obviously, you'll have to kind of think fairly carefully about which students you'd select to begin it. But just a slightly different way of organising forums and debates. Yeah, suggestions for course improvements. Get them to comment on what you can do better. Surgery, get pupils to post their problems. Hopefully you can generate that that feeling within your class or community that everybody can reply and help each other out. Learning from each other, peer learning, great thing. Teacher to teacher, so make the pupils, give the pupils some teacher access on your course so that they can set up forums, maybe give them a little section, or a few of the pupils give a little section at the bottom, get them to create some forums, see what they come up with. So again, a similar kind of thing. This time you summarize each lesson that you've taught in a forum post. Doesn't have to be long. It's quite easy to get into once you've got the habit of it. Quite nice as well if you need to go back and reference and show what you've been doing with a particular class, and of course great for absent students. Video diaries, so get them to record some things, video some things, upload and review. Ask them to rewrite and improve each other's posts. Probably something that you could use for English there. Okay, and some subject-specific examples now. What I'll do is pause for 30 seconds, a minute or so. If anybody's got any questions, feedback, anything, I'll take a couple of minutes time out and have a look at some of the comments in the chat. Yeah, cool, thanks. Thanks for the comments, guys. Okay. Right, onwards then. Subject-specific examples. Now, apologies if I haven't covered your subject. I'm sure you can all take some of these ideas and apply them to your own subject. My specialism is science. Trained as a chemistry teacher and also taught a lot of physics and biology as well. There's a lot of English examples that I've come up with, but well, see what you think. I'm sure you guys have got some creative ideas that you can how you can adapt some of these. So let's have a look at some subject-specific examples. Art. This is one I've actually seen art teachers use. Get pupils to post pictures. We think about forums and discussion as always being text-based. It really doesn't have to be. Get them to comment on some pictures that you post. Get them to upload photos of their own work, describing their creative process. Oops, that's actually repeated. I'll have to change that the next time I do this. Get the teacher to post an artwork, pupils describe it. So yeah, similar kind of thing to the one before last that I mentioned. Business studies, get pupils going out into the community and upload the video interviews with business leaders. What's your favourite element and why? I won't tell you what my favourite element is. Do I have a favourite element? Probably potassium, but yeah. Design technology. So at the end of each lesson, pupils can take a photo of their projects with their mobile devices, upload it to the forum. Quite nice to show development. Probably adapt that to any creative subject or possibly a science experiment. Use the forums to get kids collaborating. So for drama, they could write a play. This is quite a nice idea. Now, I haven't tried this. It's just something that I was thinking about. But in the forum introduction, give them a particular character and a situation. And then they have to think very carefully about what they're going to post and how they're going to reply. But that could just form like a live script that later on they can act out. Get pupils, again, you could probably adapt this to any subject, but you could post a video clip of a particular type of lighting used for a drama production and then get pupils to find and post similar examples. Debating on a topic. Actually Shane, taking on a particular role in a forum. So for English, day in your life as if you were one of Shakespeare's characters. Again, this is another one that would involve some higher level thinking. So you could give them, I don't know, a section of a book and ask them to distill it right down to 140 characters. Again, you could probably adapt that for any piece of written information. But that would really, they'll find that very difficult. And they'd have to really think about it, and that's great, you know. It's that idea of mental sweating. If it's easy, then it's not making them use their brains. Haiku poems, I hope I've pronounced that right. There's my effort of one. But each pupil could reply to a post with the next line of a poem. Maybe the first person then that started off the poem could kind of collate the 3 separate posts and put it into a final piece. Book reviews, I think that's quite a classic one. Lots of people have, I think, would have used that. This is maybe one that you could use as it might be even better suited as a glossary. But if you post a separate word as a new discussion, ask the students to either define or give uses or give examples of how that word's been used. Again, similar to my Shakespeare example, but actually having a discussion, but it could be something from a book and replying as if from that point of view of a particular character in the book. Post an image, so the teacher would come up with an image and then ask the pupils to come up with a short story based on it. Idioms, I know second language English teachers love idioms, so have a forum, get pupils to come up with some examples of them in context. Geography, so the teacher could post a picture of a natural feature, kind of like a treasure hunt. Give them very little information and they can do like a web quest, try and find out where that feature is. Probably have to make it quite hard, otherwise they'll just take that image and do a Google image search and find it straight away. History, again, you could use this for any subject probably, but if you've got a historical figure in mind, pupils have to come up with some questions. You give them yes or no answers and then see if the pupils can guess which person you're thinking of. Timeline, now this is another one that will need some careful explanation, but you could get them to post their replies so that it fills out a timeline, so that the order which the posts display on a page is the same as the events in chronological order. So you could have something, I don't know, the events leading up to, during and after World War II. Ask pupils to post and then work out who they need to reply to so that they all kind of slot in the correct order. Okay, I'm just taking a couple of seconds time out to read a few of the chats. Yeah, what I'll do after this presentation, I will upload a copy of this onto the course for you all to take away with you. Um, to be honest, I just didn't get around to doing it before I started. But yeah, that'll definitely be there. I'll put a copy of this presentation on the course. In fact, I could probably, after I finish talking, copy it across into the files area um, of this Adobe Connect room for you to download directly. Okay, cool. How am I doing for time? 40 minutes. Let's speed it up. Languages, alphabet game, name of the food beginning with A, next person replies beginning with B, etc., etc. Get pupils to translate from teachers posting an audio clip. Um, post some content, ask pupils to translate it. Uploading a picture again, describing it in a foreign language. Maths, researching a famous mathematician, post their bio, don't mention their name, get other pupils to try to guess who it is, similar to the Guess Who. Okay, so obviously this is Q&A forum, calculation, set them introduction, but you know, I've kind of warned you about the pitfalls that you might come across there. Music, get pupils to upload audio, MP3s or similar from their recordings and then give some feedback. Post links, YouTube links to videos that convey a particular feeling. PE, I thought I'd try and put a couple of token PE ones in there because PE teachers often get forgotten about when we're talking about online learning. But yeah, the teacher could post a video of a complex movement. Students could take some photos of each other carrying out that movement and upload it, or even video each other uploading, carrying out that movement and then upload it for each other to critique and assess. Science, teacher does an experiment badly, pupils comment on the mistakes. This is another one where we've got some higher level thinking going on. So first person, it could be the teacher, it could be a pupil, describes a particular scientific process. Next pupil replies with a process that's linked to it and then explains why it's linked to it, comes up with a new this new process, and then so on and so on. Everybody replying with some kind of new process, talking about how it's linked. Get kids out and about, so get them to take pictures and post pictures to show weathering near to where they live. Food chains, taking pictures of pets and other animals that are near them, arranging them into a food chain. Critiquing experiment write-ups, so that could form, you know, get pupils to upload some text or videos or pictures. Word filters, so you could, again, you could use this in a lot of different subjects, but come up with some scientific text, and pupils from that identify the keywords and come up with some definitions. You could also use that actually for exam revision techniques, so all the action words in exams like describe, explain, things like that. That's often pupils don't quite get the intricacies of some of those. Yeah, a little bit of a science base bias, I'm afraid. But of course, you could use these for anything. That one's self-explanatory. I don't need to read that one to you. Text house, so you could ask pupils just to reply with pictures on a particular question. Okay, that leads us on to my last part of this presentation, using custom scales for ratings. So, two things then. How to let pupils rate the forums. There's a link there. That's also on the course, as I said. So you can give them some slightly different roles for that particular forum. And there's some information about setting up custom scales. You need to try it first, though. Maybe ask a few pupils just to test it out for you, just to make sure everything works. Sometimes the calculations go a little bit wonky. Okay, so you could have a custom scale that you or other people could use to rate discussions, which the aim of that would be to try to extend the discussion a little bit more. So things like please simplify, give me more information, try a few more examples, etc., etc. You could come up with this. I love this. So come up with a scale using Bloom's taxonomy. So pupils would look at that post and decide what level of thinking the person has used when making that post, and then give it that rating. You could do something similar with the Bono's thinking hats. They could reply and rate, saying, yeah, that's black hat thinking, that's green hat thinking, etc., etc. You could post some exemplar material, exam questions or essays and things like that. Just create a normal grade scale, ask pupils to rate that piece of work using the grade scale, and then you could get some nice discussion afterwards. You know, one pupil thinks it's worth a C, one pupil thinks it's worth an A. You know, why is that? Get them to give you a score on your lessons. Yeah, why not? Why not? Feel good factor, just a really nice positive scale that you and other students could use for a particular forum, for a particular forum. Great post, well done, etc., etc. Names of characters, so you could get pupils to post quotes. Come up with a custom scale so that you've got maybe 5 different characters as words for your scale, and then the pupils have to rate and then pick which one of those characters the quote belongs to. I'd probably use this more than anything, actually. Simple scale and just 3 words: outstanding, satisfactory, or unsatisfactory. Just some nice simple feedback, letting pupils know where they are. Just to kind of take that idea about pupil assessment a little bit further, you could give them, you could give pupils the actual criteria for marking. So set a question, and then for the first post that you make, it can be the marking criteria. So they post their answer, then they can look at your marking criteria, and then they can grade each other afterwards. Thanks, Trish, for that link. Rewards, so use whatever goes on in your institution: merits, credits, gold stars. Make that up as a custom scale. Similar to Bloom's and De Bono's, you could come up with a scale using Gardner's intelligences. So, you know, that particular post displays interpersonal skills. That particular post displays logical, mathematical skills, etc., etc. Smileys. No reason why you can't make up a scale using smileys, but just to, you know, point out, Moodle won't auto convert these into the images, because underneath where the forum ratings are shown, it's not HTML, so it won't pop the little picture in there, but everybody knows what smileys are. A few more. These work. I was playing with these last week. So Google some symbols, text symbols, stars. I think I had a cup of tea. We've got snowman, that kind of thing. Yeah, or you could use asterisks instead of stars. Traffic light, so come up with a rating. So red, amber, green, the actual words, not you can't have colours on the ratings. But you could use that to get pupils' feedback on how well they've explained particular ideas. Use forums scales for voting. And last but not least, you can use forums for a single simple discussion. So there we go. 100 and thank you, Jane. 101 ideas for how you can use forums. Oh, just to throw in one other little bit. People often ask about anonymous posting in forums. There's a plugin that's been developed. I haven't used it. Have a play if you've used it already. Please comment in the chat box. Yeah, be interesting afterwards if anybody does go away and use it and can give some feedback to all of us how well that works. So yeah, hopefully that gives you something to think about and take away and use in your teaching. Thank you for listening to me. And there we go, that's me. Hook up. I'll take you through, we can have a quick, I don't want to keep people from next. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the positive feedback. That's really great. Just reading Carrie's. I'm afraid to use it since kids have 30 minutes to edit. Can't they change their answer? Yes, they can change their answers. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks everybody. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to hold you up from the next sessions. I'll stay. I'm going to stay around in here till everybody else leaves. I'll switch us over to Q&A. I've got a couple of polls for you to have a go at. If you don't mind, I'd just quite like a little bit of feedback. How many of these ideas we actually go away and try, and which parts of my presentation did you find the most useful? Yeah, so hopefully I'll take on hopefully I'll take on some of that and possibly adapt it for the second time I run this. And please feel free to pop in tomorrow. Well, I was going to say tomorrow afternoon, but I don't know where you guys are. But for me, it's tomorrow afternoon. It's all on the schedule. I'll be running the same presentation, but obviously different questions from people. Cool. So thank you again, everybody. Feel free to wander off unless you want to stay and ask some questions. You could pop those in the chat box, or which section needs multiple answers. Hey, that's a, yeah, I wonder if I can change that. Multiple answers. That's probably deleted everybody else's. Thanks for the suggestion, Andrea. Oops, I've deleted everybody's.
Hey Vinny, I'll just jump in. Shane here. Just wanted to say thanks for an amazing presentation, and I didn't get to introduce you at the start, but I'm sure most people know you, and or at least they should know you now. And for those who don't, Vinny's also written books on science teaching with Moodle 2, which I have a copy here. It's been well used, so I recommend that as well if you need a good book on how to use Moodle just for a specific subject as well. But thanks very much, Vinny. That was absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Shane. Thanks for your feedback. Thank you very much. Cool. So that's it. Anybody got any questions? Anybody want to talk to me? Anybody want to enable their video? Anybody want to speak to me? Where are we? A few familiar faces on the participants. Good suggestion, Jack. Hey, Shane. You're embarrassing me now. I wasn't going to mention the book. Cool. I'm just having a look over the chat, just see if there's any bits and pieces that people have asked. Oh, I did promise that I would put a copy of the. Let's have a look. See if I can work out how to share that file with everybody. Add new file share and. Does that work? There you go, guys. I'm going to stick it. Oh, better not cover up the sponsors. I'll put it over here somewhere. You should be able to click on the file area that I've just brought up and download a PDF of that presentation. Just trying to rearrange it slightly so you can. Hopefully that will work for people. If not, I'll put a copy of that on the course. Okay, thanks guys. There we go. Yeah, that's cool. The file, that's a great idea. What I'll do, Carrie, I'll kind of wrap up now. I'll have a look at that question.